Crystal Charizard, one of the most valuable Pokemon cards of all time, with PSA 10s selling for around $12,000. Today, I will be telling the story of how one of these elusive cards just barely slipped through my grasp. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you all enjoy the video. So growing up, I had a whole bunch of friends that I played Pokemon cards with. We didn't play the actual game. We kind of made up our own game that we played on our own, but nonetheless, we still bought and collected and traded Pokemon cards together. I, for one, have always held on to all of my Pokemon cards. I have literally every card I think I've ever remembered having, except I had a shiny Rayquaza from Call of Legends that I do not know where it is. The most valuable card I pulled when I was younger is the only card I don't know where it is. Kind of ties into the theme of this story we're telling right here. But I had one friend who always had insane cards. His pack luck was insane. I have two vivid memories. One of him pulling a EX Rayquaza out of EX Dragon Frontiers, the Delta Species Electric type Rayquaza, and also a EX Moltres out of EX Team Rocket Returns. Really, really cool cards. His pack luck was honestly just next level. It was insane. All of the EX Ruby and Sapphire era, he had all kinds of awesome cards from that. During the Diamond and Pearl era, all kinds of cool level X's. I will note, in the Black and White era, I had some pretty cracked pack luck. I pulled two full art Zekroms out of Black and White base, and I also pulled two gold Zekroms out of the final set of the Black and White era. But my friend had stuff even better than that. The most valuable card I remember him having, and now I went back and forth with this for a little bit, and I couldn't remember specifically if this was the card he had or not. But then once I saw some more pictures and stuff of the cards, because this is right when I was getting back into Pokemon, I was looking at all the good valuable cards I had, and I was seeing these cards that were like really, really sought after and valuable. I never remembered hearing of them when I was younger. For me, growing up, like, the big cards were the EXs, the level X's, the gold stars. Those were the big bad cards. Although there were cards and a rarity we didn't even know about. Crystal cards. Yes, crystal cards. We didn't even know those were a thing because it didn't have some like special thing at the top. It said down it was like crystal body below the artwork of the card. So we didn't even know what these things were. And I swear on everything, one of my friends had a Crystal Charizard. The most valuable crystal card there is. I believe second most valuable Charizard after only first edition base set Charizard. Maybe the Shadowless Charizard as well, but nonetheless, base set Charizard is the only Charizard I believe that is above this Charizard. A Crystal Charizard. I remember sitting in his room, we were playing Pokemon, and looking through his cards. And I thought I confused it at first with the Charizard Delta species from EX Crystal Guardians, because that one does kind of look a little similar, because it's like a gray Charizard card as well, because the Delta species card design, it was electric type, I do believe. But once I was thinking about it for a long time, like, is this actually the case? But like, no. I know he had the Crystal Guardians Charizard, because he had the Blastoise as well, and those two we always had together because they were both had the crystals in the background and stuff, really, really cool. But I know for a fact he had that normal type Charizard. I'm positive about that. And so when I first started getting back into Pokemon, I'm going through looking at all of my valuable cards. I'm watching Leonhart, Pokérev, all of these guys. This is right when like Pokérev started making videos and stuff as well. And like, is that the shiny? Oh my god! There's no way! Dude, we're in the middle of telling you stories. Mayo, you literally just asked, have you gotten any shinies yet? Yes, we have! We just got shiny Grookey! There's no way! I'm just gonna start throwing Pokeballs. There's no way, dude! I'm sitting here trying to tell this story about Crystal Charizard, and oh my gosh! First ball, too! Let's go! What a crazy story. We're talking about Crystal Charizard. We're finding a shiny Grookey. Alright, we found Grookey. Let's head on over and start looking for Bulbasaur now. Oh my gosh. Let's continue on with this story. So I'm first getting back. Oh, it's so sick. It's so sick. I'm first getting back into Pokemon at the start of Sword and Shield. I'd always been into Pokemon. I'd always liked it, but I wasn't actively buying and collecting cards. I still had my collection. I still, like I said, knew where my collection was, except that shiny Rayquaza. But for the most part, I knew everything and had everything. The only card I ever lost was shiny Rayquaza out of Call of Legends. I know I had that card. I know I pulled that card. I got it out of a tin at a Target. I remember it so vividly. I literally remember pulling the card. I remember having the card, and I have no idea where it is. And that is by far the most valuable card I would have ever pulled out of my childhood collection. No clue where it is. Absolutely devastating. But this is even more devastating, this story I'm about to tell you guys right here. So as I'm first getting back into the cards, I'm watching specifically Leonhardt, because this was right around when Leonhardt opened up some Aquapolis packs and pulled a Crystal Nidoking. And he's making a big deal about these crystal cards. I'm like, what are these crystal cards? I've never heard of these before. So I go do some research. I'm like, oh my god. These are like the biggest, baddest cards out of some of the coolest sets of all time. The E-Reader sets, the final sets of Wizards of the Coast, the last sets made by the original company that made the Pokemon TCG. These are the best cards out of their final sets. I'm looking through them. I saw Leonhardt pulled the Nidoking. I would eventually see the Lugia and fall in love. I'm like, that's my favorite Pokemon card of all time, Crystal Lugia. But the Crystal Charizard, I will note, I've never liked that card too much. But when I saw it, when I was looking it up for the first time, it was all too familiar. All too familiar when I was looking at that card. And it took me a little bit to remember. I'm like, oh my god, my friend had that card. And so that's when I was like looking. I was like, oh, was it this other Charizard or not? But like, no, I realized, no. He had both of these. He had a Crystal Charizard. And he didn't live that far away from me. He doesn't live that far away from me. And so my little brother, who would go over there all the time, literally just go over there, eat their food, and play on their Xbox. Like, he has an Xbox here. He has food and snacks here. I don't know, but he just liked going over to his house. And so I told my brother, I'm like, you know what? Go over there and ask him if he by chance still has his old Pokemon cards. So my little brother goes over there. He was acting like he was on some James Bond super spy type mission. He's like, I'm going to go over there and steal the Crystal Charizard. I'm like, okay, you don't have to steal it from him. I just want to see if he has that card still, because that's one of the most valuable Pokemon cards there is. And so he goes over there. He's gone for like 4 hours. And he eventually comes home. I'm like, did you find the Charizard? Because he was all happy and smiling when he got home. Like, did he have the Charizard? Did you find it? He's like, no, we couldn't find the cards. I'm like, couldn't find the cards? What have you been doing this whole time? He's like, well, he had some of his cards, and none of them were good. So I battled him, and I beat him. And again, he battled him in the way like we battled. It isn't like the actual TCG. Like, we came up with our own way of battling and stuff. That's a different story for a different day. But he's like, I battled him and beat him. And I asked him if he knew where the rest of his cards were. And he said, no, I think my mom either put them in storage or gave them away. So we went and looked in his basement for 2 hours for these cards. Didn't find them. Then his mom got home, and we asked him if his mom knew where the cards were. And she said, yeah, I gave them all away. She gave them away. She gave them away. This guy had. And the cards that he still had were like the cards that were good for when we battled. So like Gold Stars, EXs, Level Xs. All of those cards weren't good in the way we battled, so we just had some random weird cards, like non-hollows and stuff, that were just random that we used to battle, like the battle deck he had. That's all he had left. He didn't have any of the actual, like, good cards left. So, countless EX era, Black and White era, Diamond and Pearl era, hollows, probably bait, because I remember he had, like, a cousin or something like that he got all of his cousin's old cards from. So he had, like, base set, jungle, fossil, Team Rocket, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, Neo era stuff. Literally from Black and White and before. All of that stuff, Gens 1 to 5. He had, like, some of the best cards from all of those eras. And the thing is, too, it's like, it wasn't even like we were buying them. He just was pulling them out of packs. It was insane. And all of those cards just given away. Countless EXs, lowercase EXs, from Ruby and Sapphire. Countless level Xs from Diamond and Pearl. Countless EXs and full arts from Black and White. And most importantly, all the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Neo era, base set era hollows, and the Crystal Charizard. Just given away. A Crystal Charizard card literally just given away. Whoever found those cards found the holy grail of Pokemon cards. The only thing that would probably be a better find is, like, you see those stories of people finding a first edition Charizard at a garage sale or something like that. This is literally like the next best thing. Finding a Crystal Charizard. The second best Charizard card there is. It was just, I mean, I couldn't believe it, dude. When he said they given away, it felt like someone ripped my heart out. I was like, there's no way. There is no way. Because, like, even if he didn't have the Crystal Charizard still, there were so many other cool holos and stuff that guy had, and they're just all gone. But RIP Crystal Charizard. And to whoever managed to actually find those, I should probably give him to, like, Goodwill or something like that. Whoever managed to get those cards, yeah, congrats to you. You got some phenomenal cards. RIP that Crystal Charizard, though. That would have been, if I had managed to get that thing, that would have been insane. That would have been so cool, because I would have tried to buy it from him, maybe trade it for him, or ask him if he even still wanted it. He probably wouldn't even have wanted it anymore. I bet my little brother could have asked him if he could have had it, and he would have been like, yeah, sure, you can just take them. And would have just given them to him. I wouldn't even have to buy it. Got a Crystal Charizard for free. It's so sad, man. It's so sad. Crystal Charizard just got given away to, like, Goodwill or something like that.